I said Alex Jones has been exposed as a liar in court multiple times. We're going to go over 3 examples. Hey, I'm Byron Brown, the anti-lawyer. I know don't look like a lawyer, and that's why they call me the anti-lawyer. If you like my content, please comment, share, and hit the subscribe button like Will Smith smacked Chris Rock. I've been a lawyer for over 15 years. I've collected millions of dollars for my clients, and I argue for a living. And here you can find me. Anything within mainstream media that I can break down and argue about, I'm going to. And I encourage you to argue with me by leaving a comment in the comment section, and let's get after it. Alex Jones is in the damage phase of a defamation trial. How did he get here? Well, a bunch of families that were involved in the Sandy Hook massacre, meaning their children were killed in that massacre, they filed lawsuits against Alex Jones. Alex Jones failed to defend or answer those lawsuits in any regard. So a judge entered default against him. Default just means, hey, listen, you didn't do anything. So the other side wins. So now what part of the trial they're in is the damages phase, meaning what the jury is deliberating on right now is how much money is Alex Jones going to have to pay the Sandy Hook families for saying that the Sandy Hook massacre never happened. He hurt those families. Those families lost loved ones. Those families were facing death threats because of what Alex Jones was saying on his show InfoWars. And it's just pathetic. I think he's a pathetic person for the things that he has said. And when he was in court, he made a blunder of errors. There's 3 errors that we're going to go over that, in my opinion, is going to cost him millions upon millions upon millions. These Sandy Hook families have asked for $150 million. He told the jury that anything over $2 million would bankrupt him. And his lawyer, a complete jackass, by the way, in my opinion, he went in his closing arguments in the damages phase of trial, indicated that he was prepared to give each family $1. That's an insult. Okay, so you could say, hey, isn't there a freedom of speech issue here? Well, if Adam Jones participated in the lawsuits, then maybe he would have been able to defend himself in that regard, because that is what he continues to throw out there. But free speech, and I'm a proponent of free speech. I've done videos on it. You have the freedom to say what you want, and I don't believe anybody should be canceled for that. I don't believe that anybody should be harmed for that. I don't think violence should come to anybody for anything, that any opinion, belief, or value that they hold. But free speech has limits. And if you defame someone, meaning if you purport a false statement to be factual to public, in this case through the media, and that causes other people harm, then you've defamed the person. And free speech doesn't protect you. Okay? Now, if he's made an opinion, hey, in my opinion, then he may have had a case. However, he would have had to participate in the beginning of the trial, which he didn't. So this is where he's at. So what would you do? If you're in trial, what's the last thing you'd want to do? Insult the judge. And that's exactly what Jones did. Look at this photo. This is a photo. He was in the damage phase of the trial, and he did a whole show tearing apart the judge, tearing apart the lawyers, and even insulting the jurors, the actual people that were going to deliberate and are deliberating right now about how much money he's going to have to pay those families. He trashed all of them. And he was confronted in court about this in front of the judge. He's sitting right next to the judge, and he's being asked by the lawyer for the other side, by the families of the Sandy Hook families, hey, do you think it's appropriate to show a video of the judge burning, essentially burning at the stake? And he goes, well, you're taking it out of context. It's just, Lady Justice on fire. No, man, it's the actual judge. Look at the photograph. It's not a particular judge. It's just not the justice system. And this is what the guy does. He was selling, look at, in this trial, he made $800,000 in one day just selling supplements. InfoWars supplements? Who's buying that shit? Not me. But that's why he makes all these outrageous statements, and that's why he makes them seem factual, because he's making millions upon millions of dollars. Okay, well, now you're going to have to fork over. I think it's going to be $150 million. I think it could even be more. They're going to give the jury, after he burns the judge in a video, and we're going to get to 2 other things that make him look like a complete ass, and his lawyer's a complete ass. They're going to give the Sandy Hook families everything that I think they're entitled to, the $150 million and more. You know what? You can make the argument, and I really believe it, they're not entitled to anything. There's no time machine that can go back and bring their children back. So that's what I mean, they're not entitled to anything, because what they want is they want their loved ones back. No amount of money is going to make a difference. However, this is the way our justice system is set up. There is no time machine. You're not going to get paid in fruit or bread. What you're getting is the green bread, the green, and they're entitled to that. And you know what? You make fun of the judge, you burn the judge, and the jury sees that, you're an idiot, man. There's no dumber thing you can do in court than insult everybody in the courtroom, including the judge and the jury. You're insulting your executioner, and you think that's going to help you? This brings us to point 2. He perjured himself. Perjury is a false statement made under oath. Throughout the course of the litigation, he refused. He said he didn't have any of his cell phone records showing text messages and the like. Well, about a couple weeks ago, his lawyers, that seem to be as dumb as he is, sent the other side a full history of his text messages and cell phone records. So then guess what the lawyer does? A brilliant thing. Right when Jones is on the stand, he goes, hey, do you know what your lawyer sent us 12 days ago? 14 days ago now at the time. A complete history of your cell phone records. And then they ask him, hey, are you aware what perjury is? He told the judge, he told the jury, he told everybody he couldn't find them. He said it again right before he was confronted with his own evidence. And then when the lawyer says, hey, do you read the phone number in the bottom of that page? Jones says, yeah. Whose is it? It's my cell phone. He perjured himself. In every trial, the judge instructs the jury, if you believe that someone has lied about a material fact in the case, you can disregard the entirety of that person's testimony, any portion of the testimony not supported by other evidence. What do you think this jury is going to do? He said that the jury consisted of hand-picked, blue-collar people that don't know what planet they're on. That's smart, right? That's smart. That's going to make them award you $1 for each family or under $2 million when you're making $800 a day. What a goof, man. And your lawyers. I wonder what's going to happen with them. Whatever state they're licensed in, and it could be multiple states, they could discipline them because they obviously held that information. They had an obligation to turn it over under the rules of civil procedure. In any state you're in, you have to turn that over. And you didn't. So I don't know what's going to happen to them. But I guess birds of a feather flock together because Adam Jones and his lawyer, I guess they're a perfect pair, right? A perfect pair of dummies. And then what he did on that same InfoWars episodes, and this is number 3, he said that the judge and the lawyers are demonically possessed, getting rid of the basic freedoms and promoting pedophilia.
It's demonic. They all act demonically possessed. The judge, the lawyers, they're getting rid of all the checks and balances, all of our basic freedoms. They've gutted the border. They're promoting pedophilia everywhere.
He says that the judge, since the judge works with Child Protective Services, somehow the judge is promoting pedophilia. And he's confronted with that again. Feet away from the jurors, feet away from the judge. He's an idiot, man. I don't know if any of you follow him, but please tell me in the comments why you follow him. The stuff that he says is, I guess it's outrageous, so there's a shock value, but who's believing this stuff? He goes on, obviously, all these conspiracy theories about how all of this is created by the government, all these massacres and gun incidents, and the point of it is to take the gun rights away from Americans? Give me a break. That's bullshit. So I hope Adam Jones gets what he deserves, which is, you know what? He should be out of business. InfoWars should be off. And any money he's making, because, man, if you're making $800K a day, you're living a pretty good life. All of that money should go to the Sandy Hook families. And he should have to make a public apology. He should have to go to the graves and mourn. That's the punishment he should face in addition. The financial, that's not enough. And I'm a proponent of free speech, and you know that. But man, that guy's bullshit. Leave a comment, share, and hit the subscribe button. I appreciate it. Peace.